What's going on, everybody? This is James Grandmaster Facts Voice, and you're here for another episode of the Facts Project. Today, we're here to talk about another Wise Acre story with Octavia Etheridge. We're here to talk about the Matriarch, Liberty of Freedoms, Liberty's Freedom. I'm sorry. Now, this is going to drop now. What, a month from today, if I'm talking correctly?
We might. That's one thing. We're kind of still up in the air about it. It was supposed to have dropped in October, but we
Yep.
might be pushing it to November, maybe even December. So who knows? We're looking at November, December time frame. Sometime this month coming up, we're gonna be announcing it for sure.
Okay. All right. So
Mhm.
when we get into like the synopsis of this story, just like the little meat and bones of it, it follows Liberty, who's a female ex-Marine locked up for killing the man who murdered her sister,
Yes.
or so she thought. So when you decided to basically bring this up, there's a few storylines, few major IPs that you kind of describe this particular story to be. You
hmm
describe it as Kill Bill meets Matrix. You describe it also as well as Handmaid's Tale meets Fast and the Furious. Now,
hmm
why did you choose the guidelines of maybe like those four type of stories in order to basically mold them into yours?
Well, the Matrix and Kill Bill. I mean, the Kill Bill aspect you would get from like, just the women that are vigilantes, like they're female assassins who work for I can't even say the government. They work for Marla. Marla is she's a former mercenary, who worked for the government, who pretty much created her own assassin team, Kill Squad.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's where you get kind of like the Kill Bill vibes. Again, it gets a little bit deeper into the whole entire universe once you like read on.
Yeah.
There's only so much you could do in book one, but as you go, you will see like the aspects. Like the reason why I use the Matrix is more so like the styles, like the fighting styles.
Mhm.
Very, very high octane stunts and
Mhm.
visuals. John Wick is another example. This would be more so Liberty storyline. Him and his dog. Everybody know about that.
Yep.
As far as Fast and the Furious, that aspect comes from high speed chase. You'll see more again. You'll see more of this in like the next few books that's coming out. I just wanted to have like an all female group who not only just do stunts in cars but do stunts outside of cars,
Right.
so that's where you have the mixture of everything, kind of like the John Wick, Kill Bill, and the Matrix all together. And then as far as what was the other one? Handmaid's Tale. The
Yeah.
Handmaid's Tale is more so like how the world is, right? Because Handmaid's Tale was like, the women were forced to have kids by they handmaids. The people pretty much bought, I think they were bought or assigned handmaids, and the handmaids had to have, children. They were raped
Yeah.
pretty much into having children, forced to have children for the wives that were barren. So in this world, it's more so like the matriarch system and how it is. It's literally set up to where men and women are separated. Women are trying to control the population to where, they control what sex is born, female or male.
Mhm.
You can only have children by going to like sperm banks and stuff like that. And of course, the male population is shrinking because again, they want to make sure to keep that balance. And in this story world, you'll have like the main thing about the matriarch is literally about man versus woman.
Mhm.
And this story is, again, this is a spin-off story, more so focusing on the code and Liberty joining the code with her girlfriend because
Yeah.
she escapes prison with her girlfriend, and then they join in and they realize, oh wow, this is bigger than I thought. Like, they're getting a little bit deeper. But like I said, that's pretty much the story aspect of like the entire story world and how I created it. And this is my spin-off story for my TV series.
Got you. Now
Mhm.
we're bringing up the world that Liberty's living in,
Yeah.
and how there's basically what you talked about, the separation between men and females in this world. Who
Mhm.
essentially are these new rulers that you're talking about?
So it's your everyday, your judges, pretty much the way I created it is that men can't have certain roles, certain powers that we have in patriarch. I mean, think about it.
Mhm.
It's literally just the opposite, right? You have America has never had a female president, so it's the
Hmm.
same thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the world was not always like this, where it was matriarch. The women and the men, some men who fought against the system, they overturned it, right? Kind of like the Roe versus Wade
Yeah.
situation, but I flipped it. So pretty much the women are the presidents, the judges, officers, like the chief officers, positions that men have today. You would say that the women are in control. So they still have like jobs like construction worker. They still could do police, janitor work, anything that's heavy lifting. They do those type of jobs. But as far as like corporate,
Hmm.
is more women corporate um leaders than it is male. But there's still, now don't get me wrong, there are males that still have their own little thing. There are women that's against the whole matriarch system, that is helping males procreate, because it's also illegal for men and women to procreate together um, without going through the system. So, and
Right.
again, the whole reason of that is to stop people from having kids that and how could I say, like, kids, and I'm sorry, it's a little bit R-rated, because this
Go
book is
ahead.
R-rated.
Go ahead.
So it keeps us from having kids that have been raped, brought in through rape, and brought in through like little kids getting pregnant and stuff like that. So again, the whole separation is for a reason, and the men are against it, of course, and they have underground factions. Like, for instance, in this book, we talk about Santino. Santino is the Italian mafia's brother,
Hmm.
uh, and they run a whole like human trafficking thing, where they have it where they traffic women. They kidnap women,
Yeah.
sell them on the market, stuff like that. So don't get me wrong, there are still males that are deep underground, and they have these factions, and they're fighting back. So you'll see a little bit more of that in the series, and how it unfolds. Africa is actually the only continent, well, West Africa, I should say.
Hmm.
West Africa is the only area where you'll see that the males have taken back over. You get me?
Mm.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of that. Like, it's a little bit different. I
Right.
try to
Right.
make
Right.
it. I love sci-fi, so I try to make it a little bit different. Like, okay, we have a lot of regular storylines, but what can I do to make it different?
Yeah. Now I see that you're giving us like a real permeated worldview, and the
Hmm.
fact that I see that there was like a big bang, something that
Yeah.
happened that occurred, whether it was just like the ultimate misogyny that toppled in this universe in order for there to be a separation between men and females, but the whole children aspect that you just brought up, was it based on population control or anything like that?
Yeah, so and again, it's how they say, oh, this is just what do they call it? Theory, like, oh, you're just a what do people, when people try to say you're crazy, they say it's something else, but pretty much a lot of people don't believe that that's what's happening.
Hmm.
But it's not something that you see out front, right?
Right.
This is something that only the high, like the government, know about.
Right.
This is not. It's like a coincidence. Oh, they're only allowing a certain amount of males to be born.
Hmm.
So it's almost like the government is manipulating people into thinking like, no, this is just what it is. There's not a lot of men being born because that's why you leave, but they really do have the technology to create more males if they wanted to. But
Mm.
again, this is their way of trying to control the population to where the men will never have the power to get back into control. So
It-
that's pretty, yeah,
yeah, it's almost reminding me like in real time how China basically made that stipulation into law where all couples could only have one child at a time because of their population was just getting way out of control, uh,
exactly.
which is nuts. Now, at the end of the day, um, because of the separation, men's male population is now slowed down.
Hmm.
Correct. So like when we're seeing like the factions to where like you have this assassin group called the Code or anything like that, there is a lot more female militias on this
Hmm.
side. And
Hmm.
the thing is, they hold because now in your world they're holding like these big positions of power or anything. So the fact that even if even if men decided to like intrude and try to like basically invade and try to get their lick back, probably is not going to happen. Correct.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Like I said, there. the men in the men in this world, like I said, there's faction. There's this faction called MRM. MRM is pretty much, I would just say, a lot of the male factions, they're into human trafficking with women,
Hmm.
right? And the remember I was telling you about the African king, right? He sells this drug. They sell this drug on a black market, that pretty much allows men to populate the more Y chromosomes than the X. So whenever they whenever they give sperm or donate sperm, they will only get Y
They will only
chromosomes and
get.
not the X.
Hmm.
Exactly. So, with the female, the egg already has X, right? So you need the Y chromosome to come from the male. So
Yeah.
that's what's been pushing. So and then you have MRM. They're a little bit more extreme, I would say,
Yeah.
but they do the whole like kidnapping women, drugging women, and pretty much forcing them to have their male children. It's called MRM, stands for men raising men. So the women are pretty much kidnapped and they're taken into, they call them like their jail. That pretty much is like an underground prison. They keep the girls behind these bars,
Yeah.
and they force them to have kids, all their males, because they take like I said, they take the drug that
Yeah.
kills the X chromosome, right? And hold on, let me make sure this doesn't fall. Sorry.
Okay. Now
Uh,
you good.
so they make sure that the women have their kids, right? And what they do is they make the women have the kid until she no longer can have the children anymore. Like they pretty much max her out. Once she's maxed out, either they sell her off to another faction that uses them for whatever other reasons. Because again, the Italian mafia, everybody else do their own little thing with women, and they sell her off or they kill her. So it's one of the two, or they become like a nanny. So that's where the whole Handmaid's Tale part come in, right? Because they're making them, they're forcing them to have kids, and if they don't do if they can't have anymore, they're either gone, resold, or used as a nanny. Pretty much put to work as a slave.
Yeah, like the way that you're describing this. I mean, for
Mhm.
one, uh,
Mhm.
I I can't wait for this to come out. All right, so but the other thing, what you're describing is like a breeding facility, but disposable breeding facility. Like as soon as I'm
Yes.
done with you, like I can either put you back to work or you could just pretty much be indisposed.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now I want to get into Liberty.
Mhm.
Liberty, of course, being the essential protagonist in all of this. When we see the beginning of her tale, it starts in jail.
Yes.
Now, for one, how did she end up there? And two, what was Liberty's life like before she got there?
Good, great questions. So pretty much the way I created Liberty, I made it to where, she's taking care of her little sister. Her little sister is around 12, 13 years old. Her sister got kidnapped by the Italian mafia, right? So
Hmm.
Liberty, beforehand, Liberty used to be a boxer. She used to box, she wanted to make it pro. She was taking care of her little sister because their mother died.
Hmm.
Liberty was a Marine. She got kicked out of the Marine Corps because Liberty, you will learn that Liberty has her own way of doing things. She doesn't care about she doesn't follow rules, let's just say that. And in the Marine Corps, I was a Marine, so it's kind of like, I put a little bit of my background into her background, except for I don't box. But I just wanted to, put that aspect in there, so that she has the skill of being a killer. She has the mindset of being pretty much a killer and not even thinking about it, because we're as Marines, we're taught to like go through all type of emotions that you could think of. We, having no remorse, and to have that type of character, you see more of that come out of her once she loses everything.
Hmm.
Her sister, what she was doing is pretty much working very hard to make a life for her sister, and when that was taken away, I mean, she has nothing else to lose. So in that moment, you realize, okay, well, this person is savage. She really don't care. She don't have the remorse, and she killed many people. And her biggest thing is revenging her sister because she has nothing else to lose. So that's pretty much what you get from the character, and just her mindset. And you'll kind of like get to know her a little bit more
Hmm.
when she joins the code. You'll see like, okay, yeah, she doesn't pay attention. She doesn't care about what nobody says. So she's gonna give Marla a very, very hard time. But she's good at what she does. You know,
Right.
Liberty is the type that goes through the front door. She don't go through the back. You'll see her try to go through the back, starting in this one, but later on she's just gonna get to the point where I just go through the front door. I don't believe in going to the back door no more.
This is
So
something
yeah.
that this is something I seen for myself. Just looking at the earlier pages. Now, no, I got like this advanced little copy, and I got to say the artwork is phenomenal. Also as well, I didn't get the lettering, so I'm scanning through like all of this. So for one, I noticed that Liberty is pretty much a loner and is doing things herself in the beginning of this until she starts to link up with the code because she realizes doing things alone might get you caught. You
Mhm.
know? And the recruitment process of her being found to be somebody that, we might want you on the team.
Right.
How does that come about?
Well, it's crazy because in the book, you will see that there's two missions going on at one time. So I kind of, with me being a film director, this is my first book. So I'm thinking from a film director's point of view, whenever you're, writing, you have to cut it back and forth. So there's like simultaneously, there's two things going on, two missions going on at the same time,
Yeah,
but they're all going for the same person, right?
yeah.
So Liberty is going to kill for her, sister's death, right? And then you got Marla, who's getting paid six figures to go on this kill. So it's Marla and the code. They're going to kill this guy for the government, which is going to be a hit put out by the president, right?
Right.
So she's going to do it, and they realize, oh, who is this person? What is going on? So they realize that this girl went inside because went inside and killed this man through the front door.
Mhm.
They because like you'll see it where Marla and Nicole, they're literally doing, they have like, what do you call it, they have like these janitor outfits on, trying to
Oh
like,
yeah, they
you
were
know
trying.
you already
They
know,
were trying to be,
stealthy,
all
right?
discreet and covert and everything like that.
Yes.
No, no, not Liberty.
Yes. Liberty tried to do the same thing too. So she stole the maid's name tag and she put
Hmm.
it on her thing, right? And she went upstairs, but again, she went through the front door. Like I said, she always going through the front door. Marla and them, they were actually planting a bomb, and they were like, "What the hell is going on?" And then when they realized that this girl has pretty much went in, shot up all the people, and made this like big mess, the police is gonna come. So they leave and they realize, wow, who is this girl? She obviously at Liberty, she's not a assassin or anything like that. So she
Hmm.
gets caught. She's not a professional assassin, so she gets caught, and that catches because of the whole thing, her going in there to kill the guy, that caught Marla's attention, right? And just a little backstory, everybody that Marla recruits, they all have their own victim story.
Uh,
And again, you'll get to know. So Marla only picks out people who have been hurt, or yeah, pretty much I'd say who have been hurt in some way,
right.
and she recruits them to her team. So that's pretty much what Liberty ended up doing. That's how she ended up getting, caught up with the code.
Yeah.
And Marla, she caught Marla's attention. She was like, "Hey, you know what? This girl, I can use this girl. She has balls." So
Mm.
yeah, that's how that happened.
So you talked about the aspect of because of your background in film directing and this being your first book,
Mhm.
just getting used to comics as a visual medium rather
Mhm.
than a book. You're not talking about like details that often or anything like that. How would you say that like your game of catch up has gone basically creating this book as opposed to what you've been going through possibly with screenplays or better yet filming projects? Like what has the difference been like?
Well, I'm gonna just say this is a lot cheaper to make a book than to
Yeah.
make a film. So the only reason why I ended up doing the Matriarch, because I shot a proof of concept, for the show, the actual show. It's not gonna be specifically on the code, but from my reaction, a lot of people, I got a lot of great reactions from the code. So I was like, you know what? Let me just make a spin-off story on this book. And I said, also because it has so many action scenes and stuff, that's a lot cheaper to put, visually in the
Hmm.
book than to put in a, to film. So what I want to do with this book series is to turn these each book into a movie,
Hmm.
to kind of like make it like a movie saga. So like the first couple of films, the first couple of books might actually turn into one film,
Hmm.
maybe even a third one. I'm not too sure, but I do know that that was my process about it, and I realized like, okay, it's a little bit more tedious, I would say, because I made a lot of mistakes being it as my first book. But I will say that significantly, this instead of spending like probably $10 million, I spent only $15,000 for this book. So
Hmm.
yeah, big
Now,
difference.
also as well, Frederick Littles. Now,
Mhm.
I've had a chance to talk about a lot of Mr. Little's projects with Wise Acre Comics. Well, how did you two introduce yourselves to each other?
I came across Fred book, Magnus,
Yeah.
and I was like, yo, the quality of this book is top tier.
Hmm.
And what I wanted to do, I was like, okay, how can I get with a smaller upcoming publisher that I see the potential in, because what all the stuff that Fred does is top tier. Like, let's just start there. And when I saw that, I reached out to him because I was looking for a publisher and I wanted to go indie. I didn't necessarily want to go, big Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I reached out to him. He read it, he loved it, and he was like, "Yes, join the team." So we've been pushing it ever since.
That's fantastic. Now, the creative team. I talked about before how I'm just looking at the pages for what they are right now, colored and inked and penciled, and it looks crazy. Like as far as like the quality that you have in your book, like the one note DM that I got from Fred was like, "Wait till you see what this book looks like." So, the creative team. Who did you link up with to actually like put this book together?
See, I can never say the guy's last name, but
What's his
I'm
first?
just
What's his
gonna.
first name?
Victor, that's his name.
Okay.
He's a I was about to say, he's a Romanian
Hmm.
artist. He worked with, I believe, DC, a few other things. Like he did Predator,
Hmm.
just to name a book that he has done. So he's worked in the industry for the last, I think, 10, 15, 20 years.
Hmm.
And I met him through this agency at first. I was gonna go through them, and then I realized, not even to get on that, but let's just say that I took him. I said, "Hey, I want to do this project with you. I don't want to necessarily work with the agency, but I just want to work with you directly." And
Hmm.
it pretty much worked from there. He was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And as far as like the colorist, SKB King Bola,
Hmm.
Fred used him for Magnus and a
Yeah.
few other his projects, and I was like, "Yeah, this guy, I only want him to." Color my books. He's fantastic. I love and another reason why I chose him is because, again, I'm a filmmaker. So I wanted to have like a cinematic colors,
Hmm.
colors that aren't flat. I hate flat colors. And I love that I just love how he knows what he's doing. Let's
Hmm.
just say that he knows what he's doing. There's a couple of pages you just be like, oh my God, like that looks like a scene from a film. That's
Yeah.
literally how good he is. Yeah.
Now, also not to not bring this up as far as
Mhm.
like the message that you basically wanted to bring, because there's not a lot of women in action in comic books, or better yet, there's not a lot of black women in action in comic books.
Yeah.
To do this on that level, what does that mean to you?
Um, this is kind of new for me. Like I said, I just realized when I met Fred, I was like, when I saw Magnus, I didn't realize that indie books existed. That's how bad, because like whenever I think of comics, I used to think of DC Marvel. I'd be like,
Yeah.
uh, you know, but I mean, it's nothing against that, but I just know that it's the stories that we see all the time.
Yeah.
But then I realized, okay, there's a whole indie community. Okay, yes.
Huge.
So Yeah, so that kind of like changed my mind and my, my perspective of how I want to carry forward with what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Um, and just to make sure I'm answering your question, can you repeat that question one more time?
Now, I was saying, there's not a lot of,
Oh, yes.
yeah, there's
Black
not a lot,
women.
yeah, there's not a lot of black women doing
Yes.
action in comic books.
Yes. Because normally, whenever you see like comics, again, this is just my perspective. I know there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of men. First of all, this is a very male dominated,
Absolutely.
industry. So for me being a woman, that's what also made me nervous. And also because it's a female led project, like as far as cast,
Hmm.
that's another thing that made me nervous because I know when I see a lot of comics with females, they always be like, I'm sorry, but half naked or like, showing like it's like I and that's what makes me nervous. I'm like, man, would the males actually buy this? That's kind of like what's going through my head because first of all, she's a masculine woman. She's not a feminine woman. Yes, you have the feminine women in the the code, but
Hmm.
the main character is not feminine.
Hmm.
So it made me very, very nervous. And again, this is Liberty is the representation of myself. So
Right.
that's why I made it. But again, it's very challenging, I should say, and it's very scary because I don't know what the results are going to be. I don't know how people are going to take it on the market.
I feel as though if you get to know the story, kind of like how I have, you got my attention. So, for the most part, I mean, especially from indie comics, because I feel like with indie, you get a chance to tell a lot more stories than you would with mainstream big two or anything like that. And there's a lot of red tape, you know.
Right.
So the fact that you came up with this story, and the thing is, you're not doing this in like a single issue. You're doing this what 57 pages?
Well, technically 58, but
Yeah. So,
yes.
so it's like it's pretty much like a graphic novel. You're already at like volume one.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
That,
I
was
I,
that
I
was that on
actually
purpose?
Yes, it was. I
Okay.
wanted it to be, longer than the average comic. Again, I wanted to be a more so prestige.
Hmm.
I was actually gonna do like the bigger floppies, kind of like I don't know if you know what Distillery, their books look like. And okay, yeah. And
That's time waits right there.
yeah, and a vicious circle. You
Hmm.
see, yeah. So I wanted it to be that format. So I wanted to be a little bit longer than a regular issue because again, this is only gonna be six. I think I'm gonna do like a six print run or
Yeah,
six issue run, and that's it. So
got you. Now,
yeah.
the whole concept of this, because Liberty's Freedom is going to be this 6 issue series, and you talked about doing the code as well. Would the spinoff in a comic form of the code also be in the process of this as well?
Well, Liberty, and so this whole entire series is about the code.
Yeah. Okay.
We're just following more so Liberty inside of the code and how she, her cat. So she's gonna be the main character. Her and Marla
Mhm.
and Chase. Well, her and Chase technically because her and Chase escaped prison.
Right.
She fell in love with her CEO. And they escaped prison together. And so you're gonna be more so. We're gonna be more so focused on her and Liberty. So again, you're gonna see the code, but we're gonna be focused on those two characters for the most part.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Now, also, lastly, the villain in all of this, who's
Hmm.
who's really pulling the strings?
I don't want to tell
Ah, the spoiler. See,
you.
I almost got it. Damn.
Yeah, don't want to tell. I mean, I kind of already mentioned it, but it's
Yeah, a
bigger
little
than that.
bit.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than that. But yeah, I just mentioned you actually see honestly with this book you see who's the main villain,
Okay.
who's pulling the strings for everything because this villain is gonna tie into it's multiple villains for the first part, right?
Yeah.
But as far as on the women's side, the villain is gonna be the same villain that's gonna be in the series. So
Mm,
if you read this book series, you will know who the villain is in the actual TV series. When it takes place. So
got you.
yeah.
Something
Mhm.
I noticed in the Kickstarter was the exclusive bundles and something called the Bully Fight Club.
Yes.
What is that?
So Bully is Liberty's brand, right? Um, she created this after her sister died. So
Okay.
it's kind of like, it's kind of like one of those things where um she continues to, be who she is. Um, it's called bravery, excellence, living like you. That's
Mhm.
literally what it stands for. And Liberty just wants to, push that because she always be tell like, oh, you got an attitude, or oh, this. So she takes out all her anger in the ring, which is why she call it bully. Like she's a
Mhm.
bully in the ring. And it has a deeper meaning to it. And I created, and it's crazy because I love what do you call it? When you have it where you're able to take one brand and
Mhm.
then make it into a whole nother, I can't think of the name what I'm doing, but I'm pretty much creating this brand that can actually be taken out of this story and
Right.
and put on the shelves. You get me?
Hmm.
So I just wanted to create something like a brand that can be pushed with the book, the entire series, and that's exactly what I did.
Got you. Now, as far as like the Kickstarter, what little tidbits did Fred give you? Because this is going to be like your first Kickstarter campaign when this drops.
Yes. Yes. We still, me and, I told him, I said, with this book, I spent so much money, like, and I'm still spending money. So I'm like, how do we go about it? Because I know he normally does like 5,000, not five, well, some of them, I
For
think he
the
has done
goals.
one for 5,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with this book, it cannot be a small goal. You can't, because
Mhm.
otherwise, I mean, I'll just be buying books just to print.
Right.
So my goal, we're working with Launch Boom right now, actually. We're gonna try out the whole marketing advertisement aspect with them. And I'm nervous. He thinks it's gonna boom the market, but for me, I'm just, again, it goes back to the mindset of, well, this is a female, it's a masculine female, and I'm not sure how the males will take it on the market. So especially with it being the story world that it's in, and it's not a superhero. She's a vigilante. She's an assassin. There's no superpowers, but I will say, the code has some cyberpunk elements.
Yeah.
So you will see the technology in the next book. You'll see. Oh, you'll be like, wow, is this future? But it's like, no, this is just an alternate universe, and the women just have a little bit more advanced technology
Mm.
than we have today. So yeah.
Now I noticed the T-shirt that you're wearing now. Like, are you going to be doing like exclusives on the Kickstarter for something like that they can also
Yes.
have in the pocket? So aside
Yes,
from the
but
book, you can get that.
yes, so I'm doing bully attire on
Okay.
the Kickstarter. So you'll be able to get like the bully shirts. Again, this will be more so you could wear it every day if you want, but it's more so like sportswear. And if I can find like like the mouth guards, if I can find mouth guards, I'll put that on the Kickstarter as well. But for sure, I'll definitely put some shirts on there for sure.
Dope. Dope. Octavia,
Yeah.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now you talked about what, like November, December. When are y'all like thinking about dropping this?
Well, we will know, let's just say by October 1st, we should have an official date.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
I can tell you right now, I can't wait to see the finished product. I got a chance to just like get my little sneak peek of like I think I only got like 26 pages, but the artwork going all the way through, crazy. I just now I want to read the story. I know exactly the bones of that. I need a little bit more of the crust of the pizza.
Well, you'll definitely get that. I'll make sure. As a matter of fact, I'll tell what's his name? Fred. You
Yeah,
just choose what cover you want and we'll send you a copy.
I appreciate that. But I'm
No
still I'm
problem.
still going to pledge the Kickstarter no matter what. That's just me.
All right. I appreciate it. I really do. I
All right.
really appreciate your support.
No problem. So Octavia Etheridge, was it Liberty's Freedom? The Matriarch more than likely going to have a finalized date around November or December. Going to be dropping on Kickstarter. Look out for that. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you about this book. It's definitely something that I want to get in my hands before the end of the year.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
All right. So for everybody here at the Facts Project, Octavia Etheridge, Wise Acre Comics, Liberty's Freedom, The Matriarch, coming soon. We will see you guys next time. We are out.